Hello YouTube, welcome to my very first YouTube video at Easy Mac Teach. Today we're going to look at the basic design of the Mac, the shortcuts, and how we navigate from the home screen. We won't mess around with some different applications today. The Mac is made out of aluminium. There is pretty much a screen, a keyboard, a touchpad, a cursor, a camera, speakers, and the Apple logo at the front of your Mac. We won't talk about the screen in the very beginning because it is a part of the navigation of the screen, which I'll teach you later on. So let's keep moving to the keyboard. The keyboard is very similar to what you know for the PC, with different letters, and it is the same setup as an ordinary keyboard. And above the letters there is a set of numbers, just like an ordinary keyboard. But there is a few differences. For instance, the command key and the top function keys in the very top of your keyboard. And I'll show you how to use these keys later on. The next thing I'm going to teach you about is the camera. With every Mac that you buy, there will be a built-in camera. There will also be some applications that supports your camera. For instance, this one called Photo Booth. Now Photo Booth basically opens up your camera so that you can take a picture of yourself or make a movie. There will also be some effects that you can choose from, and there is several sites or selections to choose from. For instance, this one, where there will be some flying birds flying around your head in a circle. That is basically one of the effects. The touchpad is definitely the most difficult to teach about, because there is a lot of different features that supports the touchpad. But if you go down to your settings, and I'm sorry, but my settings menu is in Danish, but if you go down to the second bar, the first bar and the second bar, and just move till you find this one, this kind of a gray shape, and press it, you get this one, and it is basically 3 different sections, and each section has a few boxes that you can check or uncheck. And I'm going to tell you about each one of these boxes. The first one is a function that allows you to press light on your touchpad, and it will basically open up an application or change some images or whatever you want. It is just a normal click on the touchpad. This is just a light way to do it, that you don't actually press down your touchpad, but you just lightly tap it. This one is, I can only recommend it. If you know a normal mouse, you know that it has, you can left click or right click, and this secondary click, that is what it is called, secondary click, and that is basically when you're right clicking. Look at my cursor, I drag it on my home screen and make a double tap, and I get this menu. You'll surely know it from your normal mouse if you have ever pressed the right click. So I recommend this one definitely. The third one is search, and I don't really use this feature, but in sometimes it can be a great feature to have. What it basically does is that you can search up a word if you're reading a book or at a website and there is a word that you're not quite understand, but you want to have an explanation of what this word means. You can press with your three fingers at the word and a little dictionary will automatically pop up. The fourth one, I don't really use it. It is where you can drag a picture only using your fingers. And this little bar down here, that is where you can make your cursor a little bit faster or a little bit slower. I personally like mine to be right here at the fourth. The next one is where you, for instance, at a website, where you scroll from your top to the bottom, only using your two fingers. You can, if you want, uncheck this one, and then there will automatically pop up a scroll bar, as you know from an ordinary Windows computer. The next one is where you can zoom in or out, and that can be a really handy feature if you're at a website and the text is a little bit too small. Then you can just, like an iPad or an iPhone, just use your two fingers and take them in the opposite direction, and the same thing to zoom out. The next thing is the one called Smart Zoom, and personally I don't really use it because I use this feature more, but it is a handy feature. It is where you type lightly on your touchpad and it zooms in directly where your cursor is. The next one, I have personally never used this feature, but it might come handy sometimes. It is where you can rotate an image, or for instance, to make it different vertical or whatever you want it to be. The last section is this one, and this feature is only working on the websites, and that is, I can show you, if we open up Safari and type in Google, and what can we search? Mac. If I open up Apple's Mac, and I have been here for a while and I don't want to actually be here more, I want to get back to Google to search more, I can use my two fingers and drag it from the left side to the right side, and then you're going one step back. It's just like this one, the arrow down the back, take me one page down or back. It is just basically where you are using your touchpad. If we are going back to this one, we're this is basically the same. If we open up some different applications, We can open up this one and this one and this one and this one, and then we basically make them more visible. You can just use your free fingers to go side to side from these. I'm sorry, that won't work right now. We try once again. Yeah, here it is. You can go from side to side each application that you have opened, and it is a handy feature, but I use another one, and this is basically it. But I tell you about this one. I just use this one, and that is mission control. But the this one, this is this might come in handy if you use Facebook or Twitter or get a lot of mails. This might be a handy feature. This is basically where you use your two fingers and drag them from your right side to the left, and you get this one. It is the latest news that you have got. This one is a really handy feature, and I personally, as a student, like this feature a lot. This is mission control, and you use four fingers to swipe from your bottom of your touchpad to the top of your touchpad, and it opens up all the applications that you currently are using on your Mac computer. It is a great feature to view what you are basically doing with all these applications. This is a feature that really comes in handy, in my opinion. This one I don't use. It is quite the same as mission control, but it is kind of just where you drag your fingers from the top of your touchpad to the bottom, and it is quite the same. Launchpad is a really handy feature. Launchpad, I'm sorry, is basically this rocket down here. If we press this one, we get a new site, kind of, and this is basically like an iPad or an iPhone, where you have some different applications and you swipe between some sections, and that is a handy feature, and I really do like that feature. The last one is the where you can open up your home screen a quick way. I don't personally use it this much, but if you're oh, what, dismiss, if you are really stressed out or something weird and you just wanna enjoy a beautiful flower or whatever, you can just push all the applications away and get directly to your home screen. And when you're ready to continue, just make it opposite. Make all your fingers move to the center, and your all the applications get visible once again. That was that kind of a difficult one to teach, as I said in the very beginning, but well, it was okay, I guess. The speakers is right behind your keyboard. If you place your head on the top of your screen, not the back of the Mac, but on the top of your screen and looks down towards your screen, you see that there is a little gap, and in that gap there is a few openings, and from those openings, that is where the audio comes out of your Mac. The last thing we can talk about at the design of the Mac is, if you look at the back of your Mac, you will see that there is the ordinary Apple logo, which of course represent Apple. But if you turn up the brightness or make it darker, the Apple logo at the back of your Mac will automatically turn up the brightness as you're making it brighter, or it will get darker as you're making the screen darker. It follows along with your screen. That is because it is LED light, and that is the same as your keyboard. You might have light in your keyboard, or else I teach you this shortcut to get light in your keyboard later on. As promised, I'm going to teach you some shortcuts, and these are the most common used shortcuts, and I'm going to make some of these shortcuts in action so you can see how we use these shortcuts. Basically, before I start showing you these different shortcuts, you should know that the command key is pretty much the one that we're gonna need to all of these shortcuts. The command key is basically the old control key on an ordinary PC. So let's keep on moving and open up Pages and a new document. And I'm gonna make it a big screen. So if I just simply type in something, I use the command key. That is the most important key to all the shortcuts. So command A and command C. Now we have copied the text. To paste the text, simply press command and V, and there the text is visible once again on the document. If you're with a mistake typed in something that you actually don't want to be there, just simply command and seed. Then you are making an undo. You are undoing the last action. Now, if we open up some different applications, let's take this one and this one and this one, and you have several things running in the background and you want to access them quickly, you can use the mission control, or you can use the command key and then the tab key to quickly access the one that you want to access. And there is some other shortcuts at the internet. For instance, let's open up Google, and we can make a new window by clicking on this button right here, that plus, or we can use the command and T to open up a new window. You can also close a window by press the command key and the W. Then you are immediately closing the window. And the last thing that I'm gonna show you is if we quickly go to the home screen, okay, gonna close you, and close that one, and close that one. This is a really handy feature to take a picture of your screen. You can press the command key, the shift key, and then the number 3. You are now taking a picture of the whole screen, and the whole screen just simply access the home screen and you can open it. But if you don't want to have a picture of the whole screen, if you don't wanna have the dock with the picture or the line up here with the battery and all that stuff, you can take a picture of a custom area by pressing Command, Shift, and instead of pressing down number 3, you are pressing down number 4. Your cursor is now this kind of shape, and you just simply hold down on the touchpad and move your mouse that area you want to capture. I want to get a good picture of this mountain or some zebras. There we go. And now this area is the only thing that you captured on the picture. That is pretty much the most common used shortcuts, and try to remember at least 5 of these shortcuts. It will help you so much in the future. But now I'm gonna erase this one because I personally like my home screen to be clean. Now I'm gonna teach you about the top function keys. That is basically F1, F2, F3, and so on to F12. So without further ado, let's start off by F1. F1 makes your screen darker or less bright. F2 make it brighter. As I mentioned earlier, the one called Mission Control was a really handy feature, definitely for student. That was if I just open up a few applications, it is this one, so that you get an overall look how your applications currently are doing in the background, so that you have a quicker way to access these different applications. Just give me a second to close these windows. Okay. F4 is your Launchpad function. Launchpad is also the little rocket down here, probably at your dock. If you do not have any light on your keyboard, this might be the reason. F5 and F6 makes your light on the keyboard more visible. And if you do not have any light on your keyboard, it might be because you just need to press F6 a few times. F7, F8 and F9 basically runs your music in the background. So if I open up Spotify and Empire State of Mind was the last that I played, I just simply press F8. And F9 skips forward and F7 skips backwards. Now the last 3 function keys is F10, F11 and F12. F10 basically mutes your computer. F11 turn down the volume, and F12 turn up the volume. The last thing we're going to talk about is the home screen. That is basically the home screen itself, the dock. This down here is the dock, and then there is this bar up here. But let's start off by talking about the dock. The dock is where your most commonly used application is placed. That is kind of a shortcut to access these applications quickly. If you want to get a new application down to your dock, you just simply choose one, in this case Spotify, and just click, drag it and drop it. You see that the icons is kind of splitting. That means that it can be placed down there. And please notice that Spotify now sticks to the dock. That means that I can access this one quickly. If you wanna remove it later on, you just simply take it, drag it and drop it to your home screen, and the text box above it basically says remove. You just remove your finger from the touchpad and it's gone. It is no longer visible on the dock. But don't worry, it is not erased from your computer. Just open up Launchpad and it will be there. It is perfectly safe. It is just no longer visible at the dock. The home screen is pretty much also kind of a shortcut. If you wanna have something on the home screen that you can access quickly, in this case a picture, you just take it and place it at your home screen and you can access it quickly. But I personally like my home screen to be clean, so I just remove this one. The last thing is this bar up here. That is basically the apple, and you will always see this apple. It follows you all the way. It basically gives you information about your Mac, system preferences, App Store. That is exactly the same as this one. It is just a different way to access it. And there is also some different features, applications, and if you open up messages, for instance, or another application, for instance pages, you see that pages, it becomes visible at the bar up here, and that now give us some different settings to choose view, and there is about pages and settings about pages, and you can just open up these settings and mix it whatever you want, what you think is the best for you personally. Over here we have the application that is running in the background. In this case it is Shazam. Alfred is an application just like Spotlight Search or Quick Search, where you type in something and it basically finds it really quickly. The last thing is caffeine, which basically make your computer stay awake. Over here we have the network, the battery, and the time and the date, Spotlight Search, and last but not least, this one with the 3 dots and 3 lines. As I mentioned earlier, this is where all your messages is, where You take your two fingers on the touchpad and take it from the right side to the left. That is a shortcut to open it, but it will always be right there in the very top left. Right. Well, that is basically it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and help you out. If it did, please click that like button and make a comment what I should make in my next video, what I should make better. I want to improve myself, so please help me out, and I will appreciate whatever you are giving me of support. Thank you, and I hope that I see you in the next video.